It's time to get serious. I can't help but wonder what happened to Fortnite. Let's be honest. We used to wake up every single day craving to play the new update, watch your favorite streamers enjoy the new update, or even just watch our favorite streamers do some crazy, unthought of thing. Everyone was so excited to see that new item that was in the game. What happened? How did a game that we all used to love suddenly become an afterthought for most of us? How come most of the competitive community is just dropping Fortnite and hopping over to a different game? How did Fortnite create a community that was so split that no matter what Epic Games did, they got ridiculed? What happened to Fortnite? Today I want to take a look at Fortnite. I wanted to see what made people fall in love with the game, and ultimately what my opinion is for how the game started going downhill, how people started to push Fortnite to the back. Now, before I go into this video, I do need to make a disclaimer. Obviously, Fortnite isn't dead. There's still its player base, but its player base is starting to dwindle off a little bit, especially within the competitive community. I know the casual community is still there, and it's still very strong, but I feel like Fortnite is light years away from where it was, and I feel like it's only going to start decreasing over time. And I just kind of wanted to let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on not only why that is happening, but also what things Epic can do to perhaps delay the inevitable, or even turn that downward trend a little bit up. I think to start the search, I think the first thing we need to do is really just look back and just kind of see, what types of things made the creators that we all love and enjoy actually like Fortnite. What made you like Fortnite? I know for me, it was just different. It was different, it was fun, it was refreshing, the transparency. Ultimately, the game was just a breath of fresh air. There was updates, consistency, and transparency all from Epic Games, and it was amazing. A lot of the different creators that we used to watch and idolize play this game that were very, very influential in the game becoming what it did. We've heard what they all liked about it. It's different. It's fun. What happened? Now, I know most of the people that are watching this are more than likely going to be from the competitive community of Fortnite. I know this video isn't really something on the eyes of the general Fortnite community, so what I'm about to say might piss you off. If you guys want to at me on Twitter, I'm more than happy to discuss. If you guys want to join the Discord, I'm more than happy to. In my opinion, where things went wrong with Fortnite, it kind of all happened when Fortnite made their announcement that they're going to put $100 million into Fortnite Battle Royale competitive esports. You might be saying, that's just wrong. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But hear me out. Let's think. Let's think back to that time. What was Fortnite then? Yes, there was good players on Fortnite. There was bad players on Fortnite. We all knew this, but that's the way it's been since the game came out. The announcement of the $100 million prize pool only made people grind the game in a nerdy way. And by that I mean people were in creative, constantly working on their tunneling and staying alive methods with building. People were looking for an advantage when it came to editing to get a shot off rather than editing and then shooting. People really found exploits in the different mechanics in the game, like scroll reel reset and things like the community fell in love with that ultimately Epic couldn't fix anymore. It really kind of just divided the community from casual to competitive. After this happened, Epic realized that the majority of their casual player base wasn't having it. They were getting destroyed in lobbies. They were just not having a great time, and a lot of them were actually just leaving the game in general. And as any game developer would, no one wants their player base to stop playing the game. That's when Epic made the decision to implement skill-based matchmaking. They started doing that. They added a competitive playlist. They added the arena mode for the competitive community to work, to level up, to get into these events that they were going to be doing for a lot of money. The announcement of the World Cup created a huge discrepancy in skill from an average player like myself to some of the better players out there, the people that were in the Champions League and they were working really hard and constant to perfect their craft. That's not all that happened during this time frame. What also happened was the community on content split. You had a lot of the top tier content creators that were all trying to compete. And you had people like Courage and Tim and some of those content creators that necessarily weren't there for the competitive, but they were there for content. And all of a sudden, anything that Epic added to the game created an unfair advantage in competitive. So thus, they kind of just slowed down on the amount of content they were putting out. They removed impulse grenades. They, removed a whole bunch of different items that they had added to the game that made the game a lot of fun for a casual experience. And I think that the lack of content in the amount of effort that this creators and stuff and more people had to put into the game made it so that everything they did angered them. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because I have spoke out against them so many times. But the mechs being in Fortnite in Season X, that was probably one of the best things that's ever happened to Fortnite. The casual players loved it. What made it bad was the fact that there was skill-based matchmaking at the time. So you weren't just dying to a mech, you were dying to a good, talented kid using a mech. You had to sweat every single game, and ultimately it led to events like this.
Oh my god, the mech spawn. Oh no! Launch! I launched! What are the odds? Oh, the mechs! Why the fuck are they a fucking thing, dude?
And I want to be honest, I used to be a Fortnite creator on Twitch, but I'm never going to be a Fortnite creator on Twitch again. In fact, I may never play the game nearly as often as I used to. I probably won't even buy the battle pass. I will probably be the type of guy that hops on for maybe a game or two every once in a while, if things don't change. Now, I'm not just going to be the guy that just, throws out why I think Fortnite's dying and why all these things. I need to provide a solution. I need to be a valuable member of society and actually throw down a solution that I think can help fix this. And no, the answer right away is not remove skill-based matchmaking. The first thing that Epic Games needs to do is be transparent. Let us know what's happening, what's coming out, what's on the content map, and they need to gain the trust back of their community. At this point, the community is lost. Both sides of the community, they don't know what's happening. You used to be transparent when events were happening in game. You used to be transparent about what items were coming out, when downtime was, what things we can look forward to. People loved reading patch notes throughout the day. You need to gain the trust back of the community that helped make the game what it was. Number two is come through on those promises you made with your updated content plan. I need Fortnite to have new, fun, different kind of items. I need the more fun that was in the game before. We need content that can make, funny moments and things like that happen. We need things like the snowball launchers and rocket rides and bounce pads and jumpers and all the cool different items that the game has had over its time that allow people to do interesting and awesome things. But hold off. At this point, Fortnite made the decision to have competitive, and I'm aware of that. Don't add them to competitive. Just add them to your quick play playlist. And that brings me to number 3. Add a newcomers playlist. Now hear me out. Plenty of games have had newcomer playlists in the past. There's various different things you can do to welcome a newer player onto the game. My recommendation would be to have a newcomers playlist so that anyone that's under level 30 within the season is able to hop in. Anyone that has underneath, a week's game time, 7 days played, is able to jump in to this newcomers playlist. And I understand that there are going to be Smurfs that hop in it and just dominate the lobbies. That's a risk we got to take. Next, I'm telling you, we need to remove skill-based matchmaking from just the normal playlist. We need things like Fortnite Friday and kill races to actually be a thing again. Believe it or not, that was super, super healthy for the community. It made awesome content for the creators that love playing your games. It was super entertaining for viewers. And on top of that, it just kind of allowed people that were better at the game to be better at the game. And it made a win for a lesser player that much more rewarding. Fortnite, you gotta undivide your community. Plain and simple. You've had so many different chances. Please take this one. You extended your season. Take the time and implement some change. I don't ever want to log onto Twitter and see hashtag RIP Fortnite trending on Twitter again. And with that said, happy gaming. Oh, and the last thing I need to say, get some goddamn new cosmetics, bro. Stop recycling the same shit.